will be honest. If I do not know the answer to something, I'm not going to try to come up here and lie to y'all. I'm going to try to phone a friend like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and get the answer to something. So the friend that I am phoning is someone who knows basketball more than anybody. Slick, Ric Bucher, you've covered the sport for the last 30 years. You know everything that there is to know about the sport. So educate the fans, educate myself, and let's have a real conversation. Dan Hurley, why should we be excited? Why in the world should Lakers fans be excited?
Because one of the few things that you may have difficulty finding it about Dan Hurley, and that is his nickname. And it is the Carpenter. And he's the Carpenter, not because he has Jesus affiliation, but he is a religious man, but because he builds programs. He took a losing program at Wagner and he turned it into the best in their conference. He went on to Rhode Island, took a losing team, built it into a winner, then did the exact same thing at UConn. So if you're looking for someone who is going to build a program, who is going to build a culture, who is going to implement a system and put it all together, this is a guy who has done it every place that he's gone. And I think if we look at the Los Angeles Lakers and where they are right now, it is something that they desperately need. So, not someone that they hope can do that, but someone who has a track record, who has absolutely done it and done it at the highest level.
Slick, for those that all have their mind set on J.J. Redick, because J.J. Redick was supposed to be the guy. Darvin Ham was supposed to be the guy. Frank Vogel was supposed to be the long-term guy. People keep selling us dreams as a coach for the Lakers. Why will Dan Hurley work?
Honestly, I don't know if it will work to the level of what Lakers' expectations are, which is winning a championship, and winning a championship now rather than later. But it will work better than any of the others simply because he's done it. And he's done it, obviously, with the back-to-back championships at the collegiate level. But we are now in a place in the NBA where teaching the game and developing players is more important than ever. You're not getting ready-made players. You're getting players, you're drafting players based on potential, and you need to be able to put those pieces together. Again, Hurley has done that. He also has a brother, Bobby Hurley, Arizona State head coach, who played in the league. So while I often am a little skeptical about college coaches making the jump to the NBA because they've spent all their time focusing on the collegiate ranks. And so their ability to understand everything about the NBA, especially when they have to hit the ground running, can be challenging. But he comes from a basketball family, a family of coaches, one of whom played in the league, Bobby. And so he's got insight already into how pro players think and how pro teams operate.
Slick, final one for you, and maybe this is the most important question I will ask you. John Wooden. Dan Hurley could have been the first person since John Wooden to win 3 in a row. He's won back-to-back at UConn. Why in the world would you leave the landscape of college where you could make history to join one of the most overrated professional organizations as it pertains to expectation versus deliverable of result? Remember, Darvin Ham got fired and he was in the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. Last year, Darvin Ham led the Lakers team to the playoffs after winning, I believe it was 48 games. Why in the world would someone leave a stable collegiate program and join this reality show, which is the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well, there's several reasons. And I don't know that the first one would be money, but certainly I could see him signing something in the neighborhood of 5 years and $100 million. He would immediately become the highest paid coach in the NBA, and that would be about 4 times what he's making right now at UConn. He's making a little over $5 million. The other part is that we are in a new era in collegiate sports with the NIL and with the portal. So having that sustained ability, we've seen any number of great coaches who have bowed out in recent years, Jay Wright, Mike Krzyzewski, in part because they've changed the game. And if there was a time for Danny Hurley to jump and take advantage of, I've done it as well as it can be done at the collegiate level, let me go and consider this. For what he's done at UConn, if he comes into the Lakers in the next couple of years, he wins the title, assuming that Boston doesn't get one this year. He wins the title that puts the Los Angeles Lakers back on top and breaks that tie between the Lakers and the Celtics. He will be beloved in Lakerland forever, and that's something that you can't put a price on.
Slick, invaluable information. Some people can fake their intelligence, and some people just are intelligent. And you, my friend, you know all there is to know about basketball. Thank you so much. I will head back to the desk. Joy, you've kept your finger on the pulse of this Lakers job for a while now. J.J. Redick, he was the man that everyone was led to believe would be the next head coach. Now we're hearing that it's Dan Hurley. Should LeBron be more excited about Hurley or Redick?
It depends on what LeBron wants. Now, the Hurley hire makes sense based off of everything that Slick just said, based off the fact that he is a basketball guy. He comes from a basketball family. His father was a coach, obviously. His brother was a player. He was a player in college. He has an unbelievable college resume, back-to-back champions. He's a developmental coach. He builds programs, all of those things. He has the resume that would naturally transition to a professional coach. But what he is planning on doing, what he has done his entire career, is a little bit more of a slow burn. The expectations need to be a little more drawn out. He's not coming in here hitting the ground running on his next professional job. We trying to compare Frank Vogel to him. That's very unfair. Frank Vogel was a head coach for a while before he came to the Lakers, and he had a lot of success with the Pacers. They just continually ran into LeBron James. But he was in conference finals. He only missed the playoffs once with the Pacers. So he was a professional coach and in the professional ranks. This is a situation where he's coming from college to the pros, and it is a different sport. You are dealing with professionals. You are not dealing with children. You are dealing with men who have families and mortgages and businesses and make much more money than you, that have prestige and resumes and legacies of their own. So there is an adjustment period. I think the Hurley hire is a more long-term hire, we would hope. Obviously, the NBA ranks move very quickly, and the expectations change, and this is the Los Angeles Lakers. But the way that I view this hire is, we are hiring him to establish a culture and build the Lakers for the future. Now, I love it for Bronny. For Bronny, this is perfect. You want someone who's going to come in and develop the future of the Lakers. So from that perspective, I think it's great. The J.J. Redick hire, to me, is more about what are we going to do right now? Are we going to throw everything in the pot and try to win a championship right now? We're going to keep the roster the way we want it. We're going to tweak things the way that we want it. That, to me, is not going to be what it's like with Hurley, because Hurley is coming in with his own system, his own expectations, and to me, it is more of a long-term build.
James Jones, where do you stand on J.J. Redick, Dan Hurley? Who should LeBron be more excited about?
I think LeBron should be more excited about Redick. I think the Lakers should be more excited about Hurley, right? Strictly because of what Joy just said, right? If you're talking about this coach coming in here from UConn to be the coach for the next 7 to 10 years, then this is what you need to do for the Lakers as an organization. If you're talking about for LeBron James and making LeBron James happy, LeBron James is on the tail end of his career. I understand he is still balling. I understand he is about to be 40 years old and he's still one of the best players on the planet. But he's closer to the end than he is the beginning. That's just the truth of the facts. So the J.J. Redick signing is for LeBron James, right? Because if J.J. Redick comes in the building, it's going to be him and LeBron James working together. If Hurley comes in there, I know what I'm doing. I know what system I'm trying to bring in here. You are the player. This is how we're going to do things. Will I have a little bit of your input because you are the star player? Sure, but I know how things are supposed to go. I've been winning too. The J.J. Redick makes more sense for LeBron James. The Hurley makes more sense for the Los Angeles Lakers for the future. So if you ask me LeBron James, he should be more excited for Redick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Redick, though. And the reason why is because, you know, it seems like LeBron and J.J. Redick have a great chemistry. Like, they know each other. I think as a player, you like that more, right? Though I know this guy, he knows me, he knows what I like, what I don't like. We see things the same way compared to a new coach, you may not. So their chemistry looks amazing on the podcast, so you probably like that more. But I'm a huge fan of Dan, though, right?
Yeah.
If you really watch him, like, a lot of these coaches in college, they love to get the All-Americans. That's the thing. Get All-Americans, stack them up, and then we should just win because we're better. No, he don't work like that. He might get 1 or 2 here and there, but he develops these players. And if you see the personality he has, I don't know if y'all really watch him, but he's a great personality. He's in tune with his players, and they gravitate to him. He's one of them coaches that gets in your face, he's going to yell a little bit, but he's going to smile also. So if you really watch, and then another thing I love about him is when you watch UConn, they have phenomenal offense. The backdoor cuts, all the different looks they give you. It was a podcast, I think it was J.J. Redick, actually, he was on. And he was explaining, because I'm a big fan of Dan, so I was watching him, and he was saying how they asked about his different looks in his offense. Where'd you get that from, right?
Talked about,
And the answer was crazy. He said, Kyle Shanahan for the 49ers, he said, we watched the way they was playing. and obviously the fast tempo, however you want to do it. He said, but they would give you like similar looks, but so many different options. Is it a run? Is it a screen? Is this, is that, and the third? He said, I did the same thing with basketball, right? And if you really watch him, you can see it. So he's a phenomenal coach, really, really good. I will say this, I think the Lakers do hire him. They're going to do a great job of paying him a certain amount of money because he's going to say, listen, I've seen a coach, right, that came from the Bucks, take his team to Western Conference Finals, and then go back to the playoffs, and you cutting. What incentivize me to stay here? What is it going to be? So it got to be a crazy contract, the highest paid.
Fire the coach that won a championship.
Right, with Frank.
Yes.
So you're all right. So my thing is, for them to get him, they got to lock him into a big, big deal. And that's what they're going to do.
Saying that, it's crazy that the Lakers is looking for another head coach.
I know.
I wonder why.
But I do fit. He fits, though. I think he will fit.
I also think I haven't shown you all what LeBron has said about Hurley previously. Let's throw that on the screen. Remember, LeBron James, in response to Dan Hurley and what Shady said.
This is the interview.
He says, quote, I don't have it in front of me, and it's hard to see from here. He's so damn good, along with his staff, super creative with their offense. Love it. That's what LeBron James thinks about Dan Hurley. I'll take you on a break with these thoughts.
Even with the glasses.
Dan Hurley won his tournament games this year by an average of 23 points. Dan Hurley set a NCAA record for winning 12 consecutive tournament games by double digits. Dan Hurley, when you look at his track record, 9 seasons in high school, then 2 seasons at head coach at Wagner, then 6 seasons head coach at Rhode Island, then 6 seasons at UConn. So when you talk about the work that it has taken for Dan Hurley to get to where he has gotten, he has put in the work, and he's only 51 years
You didn't say the best stat.
What's that?
He covers the spread.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.